Hey everyone, my name is Venelin, and in this video we're going to have a first look at Gemini CLI. We're going to start by having a look at what this product is, then we're going to do an installation on it, and I'm going to be building a very simple web application with it. So what is Gemini CLI? Essentially it is a competitor to Claude Code, but in this implementation from Google, we have a free and open source product. And here within their page, they say that Gemini CLI brings Gemini directly to developers' terminals. One important thing about Gemini CLI is that it provides a very generous free tier, 60 model requests per minute, 1K model requests per day, and of course it is open source. If you want to become a better AI engineer, you can go and subscribe to ML Expert Pro. There you can find a complete AI bootcamp that starts from Python and machine learning basics, goes through fine-tuning LLMs and how you can build RAG and CAG applications, and finally you're going to learn how you can build your own AI agentic workflows and agentic applications. So if you want to become a better AI engineer, go and subscribe to ML Expert Pro. Thank you. Under the hood, Gemini CLI uses Gemini Code Assist, and if you go to this page of Google, you see that when you use Gemini Code Assist for individuals, which essentially is the free plan, Google collects your prompts, related code, generated output, code edits, and related feature usage informations, and your feedback to provide, improve, and develop Google products and services and machine learning technologies. So keep that in mind that this will be by default the case. Also here they provide a link that you can go and opt out by following the setup Gemini Code Assist for individuals page. Of course, you can go and do this opt out. I'm going to do that after this video is done. This is the Gemini CLI GitHub repository. As you can see, it is very active and a lot of code has been pushed. I think that this project was internally developed at least for a couple of months before getting released to the public. As you can see here, it looks very similar to what you get within Claude Code, but of course with some color schemes that is available for Gemini developers. And the installation of this is very simple. You're going to be using just npx and then the GitHub repository. Then in my terminal, I'm going to be pasting in the command itself. So it says need to install the following packages: Google Gemini, Gemini CLI. Okay, I'm going to proceed. So now we have some interface that is very similar to what we have within Claude Code. And as you can see, you can start by choosing your theme. This looks pretty cool actually. So I will use Dracula Dark in this case. And here on the bottom already you can see that it is using Gemini 2.5 Pro with 100% of context left. Okay, I'm going to be using this. Then I'm going to be adding with Google, since this is going to allow me to work with the free tier. After you choose your account and select that you want to sign in, you should receive a message similar to this. Gemini Code Assist and Gemini CLI are now authorized to access your account. After the authentication is complete, you're going to be greeted with a screen similar to this one. Since I have a one gemini.md file, you're going to see that it is already being detected by the Gemini CLI. Other than that, this looks very similar to what you have within Claude Code. And if we use /, you can, for example, use a command such as about, and you can see the CLI version, the sandbox that I'm running, the Gemini 2.5 Pro, and Darwin as operating system. Let's see, we have a list of the available tools. So these are the tools that the Gemini CLI can use. And let's see, use Google search to search for the latest magic commands on Gemini CLI. And you can see that it is executing the Google search tool. and it has already found the documentation. The Gemini CLI has a few magic commands. Memory, manage the agent's memory, including showing the current context from Gemini files. Stats, view usage statistics, tools, A, and MCP. Wow, so Gemini CLI is already MCP enabled. This is pretty good. And as you can see here on the bottom right, that we have now used some of the context, or 1% of it. Let's check the stats. So you can see a detailed look at your input tokens, output tokens, the duration. It was pretty slow actually. So let's check the memory. Memory show. And you can see the actual Gemini.md file that I have. This is the application that I want to build, a local RAC app application. Claude is a local RAC system that uses OLAMA to power the search and retrieval of documents. It is designed to be easy to use and deploy. Here you can go through the features, the tech stack. I want this to be using OLAMA, NextJS, TypeScript, Tailwind CSS, and ShadCN UI. Here I have also described the features that I want from this first version. And now I'm going to say create a step-by-step plan to implement the application. I will start by creating a package.json. Okay, so next I will install the necessary packages for Next.js, React, TypeScript, etc. So allow execution. So the first thing that the Gemini model wants to do is to have a look at the structure. So now it said, here is the plan to implement the application, initialize the project, create a package.json file, setup styling. I will install and configure Tailwind CSS, scaffold the UI, implement court logic. I will then implement the file upload functionality and the chat logic, including communication with the OLAM model, refine and publish. Finally, I will refine the UI and add marketing copy and ensure the application is polished and ready for use. Okay, so we will start by initializing the project. Okay, now that package.json file is created, I will install the necessary dependencies, Next.js, React, and TypeScript. Okay. I will now start TypeScript dependencies. Okay. I will always allow npm. I'll set up the project structure. Not sure why it's not using any bootstrapping for the Next.js application. I will create the tsconfig file. Okay, so it read the file. It's got a tool for that. It is doing configuration settings. Since within the markdown file, I have asked the specification to add support for VS Code and cursor editors. Okay, so it added a lot of file information within the tsconfig. Okay, I will allow that. Okay. It is adding Tailwind CSS, pod CSS. Okay. It found an error within executing Tailwind CSS. Okay, now it switched me to Gemini 2.5 Flash since the response got slow. Probably I'm getting some sort of throttling. Actually, it is getting a lot of errors. Not found awama.js. Okay, so it corrected that with only awama. Okay, now it wants to create components directory and a layout component. It is writing the layout and note that it is really using TypeScript. It is also editing the application TSX with the layout component. It is adding chat. It set up the Next.js TypeScript, etc. I'll implement the file upload and awama integration. Okay. Not really sure why it is not testing the build, because probably we have some errors already within the implementation. Not really sure about that, but it's very possible. Okay, it is now using Formidable to create the file uploads. Adding file upload component. It has added it to the index page. Okay, it's going to create a public directory named uploads. Okay, so now it is adding chat via the awama implementation. Looks cool, actually. Here it specifies the model. Of course, this is not going to be used as WAMA2, but we're going to be able to change that. Now it is adding a message interface with the role of user and assistant and integrating that within the JSON of the chat. So probably it is calling here the API for chatting. Okay, it looks very interesting. I'll focus on the UI. I'll configure Tailwind CSS for dark mode and a deep blue block color scheme. Okay. Okay, now it is updating the layout. I'm not really sure that it knows that we are using Tailwind 4, since this is the latest version of the library. It seems like it created this Tailwind config, which is pretty much deprecated. Not deprecated, but entirely replaced. Still, we're going to do with the latest changes from it. Note that we're still within Gemini 2.5 Flash. Now it says finalizing the configuration. It is going to create a VS Code folder for us with these configurations. Okay, so it is using Prettier, using the Waco TypeScript library. added the extensions. Now it has created a fav icon. Now it is building, and yeah, it saw that it can't import formidable. Okay, so now it is adding the types. Now running the build again, and the build fails. Added Tailwind CSS post CSS, which is a plugin. Editing the file. Okay, it seems like this is now compiling. Okay, so it seems that we need to run the application. So if I run the application, I'm actually getting this. Note that we have pretty much no styling. This might be because the Tailwind configuration is completely incorrect. But other than that, it seems that we have an application running, and note that I don't have any errors, at least as of now. Let's try to upload a file. I'm going to upload this text file. Click upload, and it says that file has been uploaded successfully. According to the code that I've seen, this is actually uploaded to the public directory of files. And this is the project open in my local cursor instance, and you can see here the components that this has created, the API with the chat, and the workspace contains a TypeScript version. Okay, we'll be using the TypeScript version of this. So here you can see that you can change the model, Qwen 3 1.7b. So we're going to be using this small model. Other than that, this looks like a lot of code. I'm not going to read through that. But here we had a specification that I want this to stream the responses, at least for now. It says that within this comment that we're not going to be supporting streaming. And we have the upload API. Let's go through the public directory. Here within the uploads, you can see that I have the text file. This is from a blog post that I took earlier, like maybe 3-4 months ago. Okay, so this is actually the uploaded text file. Let's try to chat with this. So back within the web application, what is the truth about AI knowledge? Okay, so we have Cogvolt thinking. Based on the provided document, I need to check the document to find the answer. The answer, there's absolute gold in blog posts like this, is shared among friends and small communities. Okay, so we have the opening of the thinking tag, the closing of the thinking tag. The truth about AI knowledge as outlined in the document is that practical knowledge is shared among friends and in small communities. Wow, so this actually made the OLAM request. Let me zoom in this for you guys. And actually it added this very, very simple chat. Of course, we have no styling at all, but it was able to give us the response itself. And of course, this might be a great start to a new application that you can use in order to chat with your documents using Next.js. So this is it for this video. We've took a first look at Gemini CLI. As you can see, the guys from Google have some things to work on. Here it says that we have roughly 1.5 million token usage for the input. I'm not really sure that this is actually the case, but on the bottom right also says that the context left is 97%, so something seems to be off. Also, it says that we spent roughly 30 minutes within this session, which is a bit too much, I believe. one thing that was very rude was the switch from Gemini 2.5 Pro to Gemini 2.5 Flash. Of course, those things are expected since this is a free product and probably we're getting a lot of throttling, etc. Another thing that I would like to see is more polish within the flow of the execution. Of course, our application worked, which is amazing. And probably the fact that this didn't use the Tailwind 4 implementation probably led us to having non-styled application. I would probably try to use Context 7 or another library to implement additional information for the latest version of the libraries, and probably we're going to be getting something but more stylish. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, join the Discord channel that I'm going to link down into the description of this video. Go and subscribe to ML Expert Pro to become a better AI engineer today, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye.